Well, deep down inside, I guess I always wanted to be a nature photographer, especially a professional nature photographer. As you heard, I've been shooting since I was a little kid. Luckily, I live in Maine. About 12 years ago, I became a professional, and Maine, I mean, you can't not take a good photograph here, it seems like. We've got landscapes, seascapes, night sky, not to mention wild animals. Now, this is what I really live for. I've been doing this a long time, but every time I see a wild animal, something lights up inside me, especially an animal that towers over everyone else, and I think you know where I'm headed. So this was the first moose I ever photographed, and I got to tell you, my hands were shaking. This moose came up to within about 15 feet of me, walked toward me. Now, nothing scares me. I've been married twice. Nothing scares me. But I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to get the shot. That's what I was afraid of. Now, this is another moose that came right up to me about 5 feet away. This is a little yearling, wandered up through the pond and looked at me, and then luckily went into the sun where I could take this nice photograph, so I owe him a debt of gratitude. That was another unique shot. This is a moose. Now, this will show you how close moose will come. You see the lens on the right-hand side? That moose waited for my buddy to move his tripod so the moose could get into the pond. He's standing there like, dude, this is my pond. Please, give me a break. I'm hungry. So he goes into the pond, and he's munching away, having a good time, and once again stands right in the sun. And moose have huge egos. They love the fact that people want to photograph them, and they'll do anything in their power to make us happy. I'm convinced of that. Here's another bull who walked right past me. I am 3 feet away from this young fella, and notice the change that's taking place in its fur. Every year they lose their winter coat, and why not? I mean, no one wants a winter coat in June, so they like to be comfortable. Okay. The word moose comes from the Algonquin Indian word mooswa, which literally means eater of twigs. They also love to eat the yummy stuff at the bottom of ponds, and you'll see them, in a Pizza Hut once in a while, but not very often because they don't have any money. Okay, another thing about moose is they tend to be sloppy eaters once in a while. And unfortunately, a lot of times they'll eat alone, and their buddies are not going to tell them that, you've got something in your teeth. They don't have mirrors. They wouldn't know how to use them anyway. Okay, this is my favorite time of the year right here. This is the fall. This is the rut. This is time for moose love, and this guy is ready. He spotted a cow on the other side of the pond, and I named him. Can you guess what his name is? Randy. So Randy was ready. He wanders over to the cow who wanted nothing to do with him. He's a youngster, he's a teenager, and he's full of hormones. But all she wanted to do was eat in peace, and so she took off and left him wondering why. Is this the saddest thing you've ever seen in your life? He said, what do I have to do to impress you? What do you need? Frank Sinatra records? A bottle of wine? References? What do you need from me? Guys, we've all been through this, haven't we? It's pathetic. Here's another thing about moose. They have kids, a lot like human kids. This one, for instance, screaming at his mother because she took his cell phone away. And she goes, hey, tell it to the cloven hoof. Wait till your father gets home. Moose love, as I mentioned, to eat the vegetation at the bottom of ponds. Every time they lift their head up out of the water, look at the ears are straight down because they have a keen sense of hearing. If water gets in their ears, they can't hear as well. And that's also another reason why you never, ever see them wear headphones. So they are vegetarians. They're not necessarily afraid of humans, although they probably should be. They like to be comfortable, and they have a playful side. Now, I played peekaboo with this beautiful little cow for about 10 minutes, back and forth behind the tree. And eventually I won because I'm a little smarter. Now, sometimes when you're out photographing moose, you're at the mercy of the conditions. The sun was going down. I needed to get this photograph. All I got was a silhouette, and as it turns out, that's the only shot I was allowed to take because this moose, as I found out, is in witness protection. Now, here's a tip. If you're out hiking and camping and you leave your solar-powered hairdryer at home, just shake it off. Just do what this moose does. Someone said, I still don't understand it, the reference, someone called this my Beyonce moose. In nature photography, there's skill and there's luck. I went up north to try to get a shot of foliage and maybe a moose, and I got both in the same shot. The bad news is the moose stuck around for about 10 seconds, then he was gone. But I got the shot, and that's all that really matters. 12 years it took me to get this shot. Mother and baby together, posing perfectly, symmetrical. It's 12 years, longer than both of my marriages, which shows you how much moose mean to me. And finally, before we wrap it up, remember what we learned tonight from the moose. Eat your vegetables, keep your ears dry, don't expect too much from the opposite sex, and above all else, have fun. Thank you.